Hello, this is Kelly Hammond. Welcome to the Resiliency Coach podcast. This podcast showcases people who have faced difficult times and how they got through it. These experiences are real and sometimes raw. The people who share their stories are here to tell you you're not alone in your struggle. They share the tools and resources they use in healing. If you're looking for solutions for getting through tough times, contact us at www.resiliency.coach. So today, I'm interviewing my friend, Robert Cook, who usually goes by Bob. And Bob is a chef who loves and has a passion for cooking. He does a lot of sweet cooking. He has 3,000 or even more recipes on his computer, and he's been cooking since he's been 6 years old. So welcome, Bob. Thank you so much for being on my podcast today and being my guest. Will you please share with us your story?
Okay, let's start off with a little background. I'm the oldest of 9 children total. I have 2 sisters. One lives in New York, one lives in Texas currently. Growing up, I had 5 younger brothers and 1 sister living in Iowa with me. I was the oldest. I'm the oldest of all of us kids. Stepfather adopted me, but I lived with my biological mother. Very early on, him and I were like oil and water. We didn't mesh. We didn't get along. So if something wasn't right, it was always on me. Once we got my 3 youngest brothers, they were adopted into the family. Things really went south. If they got in trouble, it was my fault. If they got hurt or something, it was my fault. My little sister, if she got slapped around by her boyfriend and I didn't defend her, again, my fault. I don't see how it is, but that's just the way the stepfather was. Any type of abuse that you could possibly think of, with the exception of sexual abuse, that never happened. But everything else did. If I had money, they took it. If I didn't get a B, I got grounded. B's were acceptable, A's were better, A pluses were the best. Anything other than that was unacceptable. I'd get up in the morning. When I was in grade school, I'd be up by 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. When I was in junior high and high school, I was up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Get stuff done, go to school, come home, change clothes, do homework, do housework, cook dinner. If I had time, if I wasn't doing sports or whatever, then I could, I still had other work to do. So it was a constant struggle. I didn't trust anybody in my immediate family, just the way, because of the stepfather. It was extremely difficult. If I got a job and worked, what I'd save up disappeared. Oh, we need it for this, or we need it for that. My little sister got slapped around by her boyfriend. Well, because I didn't beat him up, my fault. I got slammed into a wall, almost had my shoulder dislocated. It was a gamut of verbal, physical, mental, and psychological abuse. I must have ran away a dozen times from the time I turned 12 till I left the house finally when I joined the military and turned 18. And that was the only way we could escape. We didn't have child protective services. The police, take him back to the parents. He ran away. He's just a problem kid. Let mom and dad take care of it. My escape was playing sports or spending as much time away from everybody as I possibly can. Isolation. I joined the military. That was one way I got away from it. I can't explain it. I didn't have a tight relationship with a lot of people in my family. The one that I actually did have was my youngest brother, Michael. He's kind of like my mini me, so to speak. If I went someplace, he was tagging along if he could. So that's pretty much my story.
What resources or tools did you use to be able to heal from that experience?
It's taken me 30 plus years. It's even after 30 years of since I've left, 40 years since I left, I still have nightmares at night over it. I had extreme alcoholism. When I say extreme, I mean I could drink a 6-pack of tall boys and a 5th of whiskey in a night and ask you if there's more. I was a fully functioning high level alcoholic. I didn't get into drugs. They just didn't do much for me. Isolation. That was another thing that's done again. How did I get over it? There comes a time where you just have to say, to heck with it. You can only do so much. You can only control so much. I went through alcohol treatment classes twice, and they say the only 2 things you can control are your thoughts and your actions. That's it. There's nothing else that you can physically, mentally control. It's been a struggle to try and work through it. I have a couple of veteran friends that I've talked to here and there, especially when it gets really rocky. That's how I started coping. Like I said, this PTSD from it, and I have been diagnosed with that. And they told me that you'll never get over it. It will always be there. Even if it's in the back darkest corner, recessed in the middle of your mind, there will be something, a smell, a voice, a sound, a situation, a place. It'll come back on you in a heartbeat and you'll never know it.
So do you think your PTSD is from the way you were raised in the abusive environment, or if it was from the military, or both?
No, it was from the abuse when I was being raised. Not all PTSD is from military. It can be from, good example, a car accident. If you've ever been in a car accident, some people never be able to get back behind the wheel again. Others can jump right back in the car and drive down to Daytona and back and be all kinds of fine with it. It affects everybody differently. Some people get in an accident because during a rain. Well, they won't drive in the rain anymore, or the snow, or inclement weather.
So it sounds like the tools that you've used are distancing yourself from the environment and the people, as well as peers that were in the military, veterans, as well as alcoholism classes. Is that correct?
It was actual state sanctioned treatment. I was locked into the place for 9 months on my first time around, and close to a year and 2 or 3 months on the second time around. So yes, I had to do it twice because I didn't learn the first time.
Okay. And how is that going for you now?
I don't drink.
Good job. Good job.
I might cook with it every now and then. I'll make a bourbon barbecue sauce, or I'll make a beer battered chicken or onion rings or something like that. But that's it. I don't drink anymore. My granddaughter came up to me one time. She goes, "You don't drink, those cigarettes smoke, so why don't you quit?" Made sense. I haven't had a cigarette in 5 years.
Wow. Congratulations. That's awesome.
So, it's just little things that you do that, steps up. Do I crave it? Yes. There are times where I'll be in such a stressful situation to be like, this is why I quit drinking. No. And it's there. But then I come home and I got my wife and I got my 2 dogs, and it's like, there's no reason to. I walk in that door and I have to leave my work at my work.
So if you had one piece of advice for somebody that was going through what you've gone through, what would you tell that person?
Do not isolate. That is probably the one thing that I did that was detrimental. Isolation led to my drinking. My drinking led to other things, divorce, lost friends, lost relationships. So do not isolate. Find somebody to talk to, even if it's a friend and not a family member, a teacher, somebody that you can honestly and truly say they're in your inner circle and that you 100% honestly trust. Talk to them. That's the best advice I can tell anybody.
That's great advice.
Like I said, isolation is what was my downfall. Isolation led, like I said, to my drinking, to divorce. I mean, I was married for 7 years. And I already told you how much I could pack away. And that led to my alcohol treatment classes, which led to my divorce. It's nasty. Nobody wins in those situations. And if I'd just opened up to her more, I don't think that I would have divorced. Hard saying, but I don't think I would have. I kept it here, kept it inside of me. It ate me alive.
So thank you so much for sharing with us your story and your resources and your advice to us. And how could somebody get in contact with you if they wanted to?
You can get a hold of me through my Facebook page. It's RobertPCook, RobertP as in Paul, Cook. My email address, RobertP as in Paul, Cook at yahoo.com. Those are two best ways that you can get a hold of me.
That's great. Thank you so much, Bob, for sharing your story and being so open about it. Thank you, audience, for listening to Bob's story. And remember, there is a way through your difficulty. Please seek out resources and people who can and will help you. Now, if you're looking for alternative tools for handling difficult times or moving ahead in life, contact us at www.resiliency.coach. Hope you all have a blessed day and a wonderful life. Goodbye.